I thought depression was fake. For the longest, I was like, dog, that's the biggest excuse I've ever heard. I'm like, I don't know why people like lean on it so hard. And at one point during when Ari had to cut my high top, that's where the high top came from. I was literally at
Yeah, I
that
remember
wall
that.
where I'm like, this leg, it's not getting like I can't
Oh
do
yeah.
nothing. I'm like, Ari, like at this point, he like, dude, can you get up, change, cut your hair, come on, let's cut your hair, let's do something different. Like I was just moping. Like after a while, I was just staring at walls. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I go to work out, and I'm like, it's not enough. Like it's only so much I can do, and everybody keep telling me, you need to rest, you need to rest, you need to rest. I'm like, bro, I've been going to sleep every day for 2 months. I'm like, I can't do nothing. I can't run. I can't jump. I can't push somebody. I can't do nothing. I'm like, if I walk down the stairs and mess up, I'm down.
Yeah, you fall.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just in that, and I was like, bro, this is the first time I could acknowledge it. I was like, man, depression's real.
What's up, everybody? As you heard from Iman Shumpert, depression is not a joke. It is something that is real. And the thing about it is that because we can't see it, touch it, or see it on a scan, we believe that it's something that is made up and you just have to push through it. You probably listen to a lot of guys like David Goggins or Alex Hormozy. These guys, they would discredit someone if they say they had depression, believing that it's just something that's been made up to get them out of doing the hard stuff. But as you heard from Iman Shumpert, who plays in the NBA or who used to play in the NBA, it is real. It's real to the point where if you do not address it, it'll spread to many parts of your life, just like a cancer. And when I say spread to other parts, what I mean is that it will spread and get in the way of your, let's say, athletics if you play sports, but other things, whether it be your job, your business, your relationships. And what also happens is that things that you used to find pleasure in. So if you love going to the gym, listening to music, traveling, these things will no longer give you pressure because the depression is getting in the way. This is something that we call in our field called anhedonia. It's basically not being able to feel any types of pleasure. So what does this mean for you? Well, one, if you're feeling sad and you've been feeling like this for 2 weeks, and also you find yourself losing weight or gaining weight because you've been eating less or eating more, if you find that you also have lacking pleasure in certain things that used to give you pleasure, if you're suffering with things like low motivation, or again, if you find yourself, let's say, having suicidal thoughts, these are all things that are pointing to signs of depression. And again, there is a big differential when you say, I've been sad versus I've been depressed. And the big thing you want to look at is how long you've been feeling this way. As I stated, 2 weeks is the metric that us as therapists use to determine whether or not someone is depressed or if they're just having one of those Monday or Sunday blues type of things. So when we started talking about how do you come out of depression, there's a lot of things I could say, but I want to give you guys a metaphor, right? So there's this thing called the reality gap, okay? The reality gap. And I want you guys to write that down. So the reality gap is basically the distance between where you are and where you want to be. If you feel like you should be waking up and you have $2.5 million in the bank account and you wake up and there's only $2 in your bank account, well, yeah, rightfully so, you're going to be very depressed because what you feel you should have and what you actually have isn't correlating. Now, I know I use money in that example, but trust me, there are things outside of that. So whether it's me waking up feeling that I should be married, have a family, or if you feel like you should be waking up and should be able to call your mom or your dad and maybe they have passed, these are things that also will set up the whole reality gap analogy that I just gave. So what you want to do is be able to close that gap. And with things like death, right, things where you can't necessarily close that gap, you have to find other things to fill in that gap so that way you can wake up and have somewhat of a new reality that you can live with. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of tips about depression and tell you guys that it is real. And if you guys have any questions, if you feel like you need any help, I have a great community that I started. You can join that by clicking the link in the bio. And that way you can become part of what I call the Mental Performance Club. So before I let you go, one last thing. So what I love about this podcast is that everything I give in my mental health therapy sessions, the sessions where people pay me hard-earned money, these are the same tips, the same strategies that I give in there. I give them absolutely free on this channel. So if you've never been to therapy, you've been curious about it, or you feel like you need a session, by jumping on this podcast, you're getting that filler session to help you get you to your next day. So my name is Coach Wells. I'm a licensed therapist, and thank you for checking us out.